everybody can see. Where's the presentation? Awesome, cool. Everybody can see. I'm looking at my screen this way, but I'm gonna try to face y'all when I'm talking. But yeah, well, welcome everybody. We'd love to see, your faces here. I can see some new faces, some familiar faces. And today we'll be talking about this is our agenda. So we'll do a little quick breakout session, about 5 minutes, just folks get to know each other in little breakout groups. And then we'll talk a little bit about what a BioBlitz is and how your chapters and your members can participate, as well as the rules and, make room for questions, and then just some exciting announcements. So we don't anticipate to take the full hour, but we can definitely take that time if there are a lot of questions. Yeah, so Fred, do you want to split the groups or?
Yeah, I'll do breakout rooms just so everybody that's been joining us knows. The whole idea, of course, of these chapter check-ins is to encourage collaborations amongst these chapters. And the only way we can do that is for you guys to get to know each other. So we're going to do 2 quick breakout rooms. Each of them is going to be about 5 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and jump. There's about 16 of you joining on the call from across the US. Again, just short introductions, which chapter are you from, and activities that you've hosted or looking forward to host this semester. Again, the sharing of that, like activities and ideas, is highly encouraged. So I'll do this here real quick. Okay. All right, we'll see you guys back here in 5 minutes, and then we'll do another round just so you guys get to know more people. All right, so I guess the rooms are going to close in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back all into the main room. I am going to go ahead. So hopefully, again, there's a good representation of SEEDS chapters across the nation. We're going to go ahead and do this one more time. So again, 3 breakout rooms. Just go ahead and introduce yourselves and talk about what your chapters have been up to. And then I'm going to have a few of you from each group report back on some of the fun things that you learned about that you didn't know your chapter could do. So I am going to go ahead and recreate these. And I'll see you guys back here in 5 minutes. All right, quickly. In another 5 minutes, actually, Suha, if you don't mind, sorry, taking the presentation off this screen. I want to see raise your hand, turn on your screen if you choose to. But just let me know what was a fun activity that you didn't know chapters could do that you heard about in the breakout rooms. Nia, see your hand up. Jaden, you too. Cool.
I believe someone, I'm trying to find her. She was she's in Texas, and they did a thrift swap as the seasons change, and then they give the lightly used or unwanted clothes to women's shelters, which I think is super cool.
I like that. I like that a lot. Jaden.
Yeah, one thing we talked about in the second breakout was how to get more people involved, especially for the bunch of us are new chapters. And Adam actually shared a really good idea, which is literally just going up to people and telling them about the club and your classes. Because we've tried using like our listserv before to send it out, and you get some people that way. But I think Adam's right. The best way is to literally just find somebody who you know is interested in ecology, tell them, and get them involved, and then they'll tell all their friends, and it kind of spreads that way.
Yeah, definitely creating a network of friendships. Also, going to the first year classes like general biology and start talking to people about ecology. And hey, if you guys are interested in like doing field work, there's a club or like this is what we organize. We organize things related to our science. Adam, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I actually also learned something from Jaden from UNC Chapel Hill. And he said they're working on an event that deals with sustainable bracelets. So that actually got me thinking about other things, like other events I could possibly host here concerning sustainable, like making stuff, because I know interactive events definitely get people interested. So I'm gonna look into that.
Pretty cool. Anybody else? Evan, see your hands up.
I had a couple of people in both of my groups mention going on hikes or nature walks, and I think that would be a really good way to get in contact with more people, get face-to-face interaction. We're in Southern California, and there's a lot of people who like to go on hikes. So I think if we host something like that and we're able to like Adam was saying, like being able to talk to somebody personally, I think is one of the better ways to get people involved.
Very cool. Anyone else want to share some fun stuff that your chapter might be up to? Maybe you didn't get a chance to say it in the breakout rooms. All right. I guess everybody's excited about the BioBlitz presentation. Suhei, kick us off.
Yeah, happy to. Okay, cool. Everybody can see my screen. Awesome. Awesome, so cool. Yeah. So you might be interested, like, what's a BioBlitz? Some of you might have heard that term before or not. And so basically a BioBlitz, I see it personally as like a citizen science project where you go outside to identify as many species that you can, wherever you are. So, we know some of y'all are in urban cities or in maybe some more rural places, but there's nature and species, hundreds of species all around you. And so it's an opportunity to really just see the biodiversity in your area. And it's really important because there are apps like iNaturalist, which we'll be using in our competition, to collaborate with other local citizens in your area, or even scientists use that data. And so there's a lot of collaboration that can happen between the public and scientists. But also just really cool to figure out what's happening in your area and what kind of species or biodiversity you can find. And so this year, we're excited to share the dates for our 2024 SEEDS National SEEDS Competition. And so we'd like to recruit SEEDS chapter to make as many observations within the week to be announcing a winner, but also just showcase all the different chapters in a friendly competition. And so this year, our data collecting will be April 22nd to the 29th, so at the start of Earth Day, for a week. And yeah, Fred, you wanna?
Yeah, so if you're wondering how to get your chapter ready and recruit people, here are the easy steps. So the first thing that we created at the National was an umbrella project. And now from that umbrella project, we will be recruiting collection projects. So the way that you do it is you would create a iNaturalist account with an existing email. I highly recommend that you use, say, your chapter email to set up the account, or a chapter email to set up the account, and then also have a login with your personal account. So you're one of the members and observers of your project. So the projects are actually pretty easy to set up on the iNaturalist platform. So once you visit the website, you'd log in and then you'd go into projects, and I'll show you the next steps by sharing my screen in a minute. You'll go to start a project, and of course, there's two types of projects. Again, there's a collection project and an umbrella project. Focus on the collection project. Make sure that your project name includes the year, because of course we have projects from last year, and your chapter name or institution. Also, it's fun if you can upload like a unique logo for your chapter. If you participated last year, you're more than welcome to reuse it. And then we do have some rules, so we'll go over this in a minute. Once that project is created and properly labeled, then you would please email Seeds at ESA and Suhei with your project named so we can add it to the umbrella project as part of the competition. So again, I'll show you in a minute, but you will do a collection project which uses users of your chapter members, friends, collaborators on campus. You use as members to collaborate, like to collect observations. And then our umbrella project, to be able to compare these projects at the national level, would then grab those collections from those collection projects. I know it sounds way worse than what it actually is. I am going to, and then once that's up, of course, you would share the project with your members then, so they can start uploading those observations. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here real quick. Suhei, I'm going to take privileges, and
I'm also going to share the link to the website where we'll have all this information. So you don't have to, if you want to take notes, you're more than welcome to, but we'll also give you this presentation after the call so you can share with your members.
all right, cool. So just to give you guys a preview, this is what the Seeds BioBlitz website looks like from our end. And then if you go to our Seeds BioBlitz website, you can see all the projects that we've done in previous years. Okay. Now for us, right, if we were going to start a project, which we already did, you can see it here. It's already labeled 2024 National BioBlitz. But if you were to start a project, again, it gives you two options. So very simple. You log in, you go to projects, start a project, and then again, two different types of projects. There's a collection project and the umbrella project. You would start a collection project. Starting a collection project, again, you would pick a project name. This would have to be your Seeds chapter or institution, and then the 2024 Seeds BioBlitz as well, so we can label it properly. Project summary, and again, this can be, chapter students, chapter members of the Seeds chapter at this institution. We'll be collecting observations between April 22nd and April 29th. And again, you can choose a banner. You can customize it and make it look as nice as you choose to. When it comes to include taxa, you can include, again, users, places, and as much of the taxa information as you can. You would select only to display observations for project members. That's pretty important. And then again, annotations and such, super easy. Let me see, media type, any. Research grade, needs ID, that would be preferred. And again, any observations which include date, the range of date, or any information about location. I'll show you guys how to do an observation in a minute. You could allow. And then again, the important thing about being able to set this up with two accounts, so the project would be under your chapter email, and then as a new user, you would have your own login. The important thing about that is here. So when you add users, there needs to be two separate accounts. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because we're not doing that. How familiar are we with iNaturalist? Show of hands real quick here on screen. Okay, so I see some good show of hands. If you haven't used the platform before, it's actually fairly user-friendly. And of course, there's a lot of resources available on YouTube and other platforms to learn how to use it. But this is what a project ends up looking like. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the last year's BioBlitz. So, as a reminder, last year's BioBlitz winner was University of California, Santa Barbara with 672 observations that week. Next was University of Puerto Rico, Maya West with 420, and very close behind was UTEP with 399. But this is our leaderboard. This is what the actual umbrella project looks like. So we can, at the national level, click on each of your chapters and see how many observations you have. Where were those observations taken? What do those observations look like? Okay. So the one thing that we ask, so Suhei, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If you don't mind, go back to the presentation. So we're going to go over a little rules, and then I'm going to open up for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them. Okay. Does anybody want me to do a demo on how to upload an observation? Yes. All right. It'll take me a minute because I need to find a picture of an animal or that's not human. And in the seeds files, that might be a minute. But I'll get to that in a minute. Let me show you the rules real quick because those are important. So simple rules. There's just two. All right. So rule number one is all observations must be made between April 22nd and April 29th. This isn't like you're going to have a bunch of pictures on your phone ready to upload 150 observations on day one. You know, we want those. And actually, a naturalist like populates observations with the picture data. So you would have to go in and change those dates. Anyways, what we're trying to say is the honor system is actually fairly important for this, and in science in general. So please be ethical when it comes to this competition. That being said, again, we want all observations to be done within those 7 days. You have a full calendar week to take as many pictures and record as many sounds of animals as you can, because not only can you upload pictures, but you can now upload that sound clips and such to iNaturalist, which is really cool and very beneficial, specifically if you're dealing with birds and reptiles and amphibians. And of course, the other rule is very simple. The chapter with the most observations at the end of the week wins. This means that if you have a small chapter, you're highly encouraged to be recruiting friends and classmates and such to be able to like compete with the larger chapters. We try to keep it as even as possible. We were impressed that, say, you know, chapters from the tropics didn't blow all the other chapters away. I was worried that like my Puerto Rico chapters would just dominate due to the biodiversity and closeness of things. But that's not the case. California won, and the previous years, actually, I think California's won the last 2 years. So anyways, and of course, sorry, most important about these rules is if you follow all the rules, and of course, we'll verify all of these observations, and your chapter is deemed the winner with most observations, then you have an end of semester celebration sponsored by Seeds that is capped at $250. This is again reimbursement. So if you guys want to like do an outing or anything like that, just know that we'll reimburse you $250 for your end of semester activity. Again, whether it be movies and pizza, or some sort of recognition as well for those chapter students. Some of our chapters really do want to do activities to recognize those that are graduating and passing the baton then to the next generation of chapter leaders. All right, are there any questions real quick? And then I'm going to jump into, well, while you guys ask questions, I'll start looking for a picture. Anybody have any questions? That me or Suha?
Yeah,
Suha, did I
Neil.
miss anything?
We can deal with this maybe like later, but it's, I have a little bit of an issue, with the iNaturalist. I'm trying to get, Seeds to be like an admin. And like, that's literally like the last step that I have, but for some reason, it's not letting me add like literally anybody else.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cause I was gonna email you guys, cause I know like the deadline's the like 19th or something.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Um, it's literally like technical, so we can deal with it later, but I just want to let you know, like, that's where I'm at.
Okay, that's fine. It might be something that like we can jump on a call and see if we can like settle that real quick. Me still shopping around for some
I had a question on location. So if we have like any SEEDS members that are out of town for that week, would they still be able to participate by adding pictures to our project, or would it have to be just like in that region that
No,
the chapter is located?
not at all. The cool thing about the project is the projects can be at any location. So if you do have chapter members, I'll give you an example. One very popular one was actually 3 years ago when, we were in lockdown during the pandemic. And it just so happens that one of the chapters got caught on local news, and then the BioBlitz became a thing. Observations are a little weird once you involve like the general public, but thousands of people participated for that chapter in that region, which kind of, yeah, that was an interesting year. I think they ended up with over 10,000 observations, literally blowing everybody else out of the water just because everybody was at home taking pictures from their windows and taking walks around the neighborhood. So it was something really fun for them to do. Genoa, I see your hand up.
Hello. So my question is, at VCU, our semester ends April 30th. So I'm curious about how like the end of semester celebration would work, or if it's possible for us to like push it to the next semester.
Yeah, that is completely possible. We're not going to hold you to like this year. If you want to like kick it off next year because you won $250, that's perfectly fine with us.
Thank you.
I had a question of whether this was, I guess you kind of answered this, but if this is like students only or for like faculty would be able to participate in this
Faculty
as
can
well.
participate. Again, what we ask is that people make those observations within those 7 calendar days. So you can recruit as many people. If you have a big listserv, go ahead and send it to everybody with instructions on how to join the project. And then, yeah, that means we can have, again, it all depends. Like you can have 150 observers, but if each person only observed one, then, it's encouraged that you go out and take a lot of pictures that week. And also, I'm thinking of some of the students that will be with us at the field trip in Georgia. So Suhei and I actually discussed, what if we have these chapter students that want to continue to participate in the BioBlitz? Well, they'll take pictures and upload stuff from coastal Georgia. So yeah, you can do it from anywhere. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think Fred, I don't know if we mentioned this, but everybody who does sign up will get a SEEDS swag bag regardless, if
That's
you
true.
win or not. So every chapter that does sign up, we'll make sure to send you some goodies for participating.
Yeah. And again, those can be gifts towards end of semester activities or use it as recruitment for the next term. And by swag bag, you guys are fairly familiar with what we're talking about. Again, seed stickers, water bottles, notebooks, drawstring bags. And I think we're going to do patches. We got to figure out, I got a budget already. We're going to be buying some more swag for the next year. So Sue and I have some shopping to do. All right, I found a cool picture from back in 2017. Don't hold me to it. I haven't been taking too many pictures of animals recently. But here, I'm gonna share my screen again, and we're gonna go. All right. Let's go back here to the BioBlitz. And hide this because it's distracting. Okay. So again, as an iNaturalist user, you have your profile, your observations. You can edit those observations at any time. You can host calendar events. You can list, you can journal and add notes more to your observations. There's also places where you can ask people for help with IDs. That's the whole actual basis of iNaturalist, is to make sure. I honestly believe that they're now even using AI to help identify animals, which is super cool. I'm going to show you guys real quick how to upload here. Let's say that I want to use here a picture of a brown bear. or black bear, sorry. Okay. So picture has been uploaded. See, it gives you suggestions. So I know for a fact that this is an American black bear. And then the location. Here, I can show for locations, but this was actually, as you would imagine, Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I know for a fact that because it was a road trip, that observation was somewhere around there on 411. And I hit update. Okay, so if I were to submit that one application, okay. So you can see here it automatically, again, gave me suggestions as to what organism is in the picture. It identified that that picture is quite old, it's from 2017, and then gave you an approximate location on Google as well. So how to add this observation to a project. Here you go. So I can add it to a project right there. And sales version. Did it add it to the project? Yes. Okay. That's basically it. It's pretty simple. Does anybody have any questions so far about observations? Jaden, I see your hands up.
Yeah, not really a question, but more of a suggestion for those using it. It's important to like always put at least something for what type of observation it is. Don't just like leave it unknown. Like even if it's just a plant, if that's all you can put, because that increases the likelihood that somebody who like knows what they're talking about could find it and suggest what it is.
Yeah. The other thing is, as you can tell right here too, you can add more annotations. You can even take pictures of dead stuff, which we run into quite often on hikes. Again, like right here, the evidence of presence is the actual organism once there. It was very much alive. Life stage, no idea. Gender or sex, no idea either. So I'm not going to add any of that. All right, let me show you what some of these chapter projects look like, especially for those that participated. Let me look for some. Okay, so again, this is an example of some of our chapter projects from the previous year. This was Life, which is University of Puerto Rico and Bayamon. The collection dates was April 17th to the 21. Sorry, I'm just noticing now that this one is definitely in Spanish, so practice. Here we go. So you can see their users, right? So the most observations was this user with 172. Most species identified also was the same user. And then the most common observed species, jungle flame. Interesting. Common ornamental in Puerto Rico. Basically in everybody's backyards. Right? So some of the project requirements, again, like here's that you can use. And again, you can search for like SEEDS BioBlitz on iNaturalist and find these projects already. But this is the way the project, like the following criteria. So it's all taxes, location. They use their chapter at Bayamo, Puerto Rico. The project members only as users. Again, projects would be technically to any, but all sorts of quality grade. So they did research grade, needs help IDing, and then casual, any media type, and again, definitely establishing the dates, which for this year, just as a reminder, is the 22nd to the 29th. Questions, concerns? Suha.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's also an app. So you can use the web version, which I'm sure is gonna be a little bit different than the app. I haven't used the app in a while, so I hope it's more user friendly than
I
what
have, and
used
it
in,
actually is a lot
years.
user friendly. Some of my like things with showing the desktop was like, I don't remember where this is on the desktop. But the app is a lot easier to use, and you can set up the projects in the same way using that like your phone.
Yeah, and I just put in the chat the Slack invite if there are any questions that come up. Neo, I know you mentioned that situation, so we'll look into it and see what we can do, and we'll share any updates on the Slack. And so I shared that in case you aren't on the Slack already, or if you want to share that with your members. And if there aren't any other questions, or you have a question tomorrow or later down the road, definitely let us know in there. We'll answer. Cool, Fred. So if there are any more questions, we'll just share some upcoming announcements. If that's cool, and just if anybody has a last minute question. Yeah, we're announcing, well, the SEEDS chapter grant cycle is officially opened. It opened yesterday. So chapters are able to submit applications for any grant activities for the fall of 2024. And that's going to be open for about 2 months. So it'll be open till May 31st. So you're able to submit any chapter grants on our website. The link is live and updated, and so you can look at the application. Nothing's really changed from the last year, or from the last semester, so it should be pretty easy, and including a budget for any proposed activities, along with a project narrative, just letting us know what you'll be spending and what you will be doing and the impact, and all that information again is on the website. Yes, Fred, do you want to?
Yeah, I will add that the end of the semester is coming, which means that those end of semester chapter reports are due. Actually, end of year chapter reports are due. And this is a fairly simple online process in which you as chapter leaders let us know what the chapter has been up to, activities, events that you hosted. If you have a chapter grant, this is separate. Again, chapter grant reports are separate from the national chapter reports, but your chapter must be active and good standing in order to qualify for funding, which means we need those reports in order for you to qualify for the funding for the next semester. Now, that being said, I know that some of you are ending the semester as well, like way before the deadline ends. Just know that if you wait until the next term, be proactive and help us out. Because if you're waiting until the next term to project activities, I will tell you that next term, we're kicking things off in August with the ESA annual meeting, and we moved the SEEDS leadership meeting up 2 months. So it's actually going to be in September, not in November, which means the likelihood of Suhe and I being able to open up chapter grants next fall would likely be end of September by the time we can open it, and then we'll close it by the end of October. So again, funding for next term happens before May 31st. So if you're thinking about activities, please make sure that you meet that deadline, because we're not opening it up again for another 4 months. Other cool announcements is we're opening up the application for the national field trip next week. This is our first international trip. That'll be to the Barrier Lake Field Station in Alberta, Canada. We're bringing 20 students to this field trip. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be a day longer than normal field trips just because there is a lot to see and a lot to learn. And being in such like a cool place, like why wouldn't you want to go and just have fun and explore for a day? So that is going to be part of that field trip. We know we're going to get swamped with applications. Also, I want to remind students that this is an international field trip, and SEEDS unfortunately cannot provide funding for your passports, but there are groups on campus and your institution actually might even have funding to provide students with funding for their passports in order to participate in international travel and representation of your institution. So definitely search for funding for that, especially like applications, like I said, are likely gonna like they will open next week and they'll be closing by mid-May. I really hate that I'm putting it towards the finals, but definitely recruitment for that experience happening in October, given the timeline, given that it's international and we need to give people time to process those passports. It's going to happen in May. So we should be making those announcements. If you're awaiting hearing from us for the ESA annual meeting in Long Beach, just know that the undergraduate applications are currently under review. The alumni have been selected, which means now my alumni are helping me select my undergraduates. The process takes a little bit, but the other cool thing is if you submitted a presentation and you just happen to not receive the funding from SEEDS, ESA will not charge you for that like presentation fee or anything like that. So we'll handle that. We'll make sure that because you're not selected, you're not paying for any ESA stuff as well. What else? Suhei, what do we have next month?
Yeah, so next month, on Tuesday, May 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll have our a next webinar just to announce the winner of the BioBlitz and also kind of an end to the spring celebration. We usually don't have check-in calls over the summer, just because we want to make sure that y'all are doing field experience or internships. And so that will be our last call for the spring semester. And the registration I will put in the chat. But we will
We'll
also
share that on Slack. Again, let me go ahead and share the invitation because we do have a few new faces on every call. I just want to make sure that you have access to communicating with us and the rest of the SEEDS chapters. Again, we are pushing the whole community to be using the Slack group. So we're posting announcements, we're posting internships, like pretty much everything that we can get our hands on, we're posting. And I want to make sure that I am, sorry, I'm looking for the invite link and Slack looks different.
looks different.
Yeah, I don't know why the menu, I can't find where the invite link is. Even in
I think they did update.
it did.
Yeah, it used to be like the link expired after 30 days, and so I had to keep manually adding the new chapters. But then I saw that you can make it to never end the invitation, so it should work forever, hopefully.
All right,
Whenever you
Suhei,
share that.
do you mind actually jumping in real quick and seeing if you find that link? Because I'm looking for it honestly and I don't know where. Even on settings, I can create a huddle and create a huddle link, but I'm not trying to meet with people.
I put it in the Zoom chat. Did you not see it?
Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Hey, thank you. Okay. Any questions or concerns? SEEDS fam? Okay,
I
well,
have a
please,
wait.
yeah,
Sorry,
go
I
for
have
it.
a question, but it's kind of like related to my application for like the SEEDS conference, so it can wait until
Yeah,
whenever.
we'll wait until everybody logs off, and if you don't mind, yeah, we'll go ahead and answer that. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns so far with managing chapters? Something that we can address? Maybe your concern is somebody else's? Valeria, see your hand up.
Hi, I'm Valeria. I have a quick question about the National BioBlitz.
Yeah.
So, it is open to the general public or is only to the members of the SEEDS chapter?
No, it can be open to anybody. It can be open to anybody. Again, we ask that the project, like you're adding the users to the project. So again, like people that you know, people that you've recruited through your SEEDS chapter.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Evan, you have a question?
Yeah, excuse me if it's a bit of a silly question, but could you remind me what the deadline for the yearly meeting or the yearly report is?
It would be the end of the semester. I think it's like end of May, if I'm not
End of
mistaken.
May? So May 31st?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll
and
make sure
again-
to send an email.
Yeah, we'll send an email with the instructions again, reminding everybody. The other important thing is like, yeah, we don't want this to be interfering or stressful in any way, shape, or form with the finals. So we always give a little bit of wiggle room.
All right, thank you.
Grace.
Yeah, Columbia, I'm trying to like wrangle together all the ESA applications for you guys. People are asking, and I'm curious, do we need to fill out the section for the ESA ID number in the top right?
What are we talking about? You lost me with the ESA member ID.
It says on the application form in the top right, there's a like line that says ESA ID number
Application for
Ecological Society of America.
Give me a second. Are you at the ESA website or are you on the SEEDS website?
No, from the email that we received, like when we got recognized as a chapter.
Oh, the SEEDS website.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the membership form?
Yeah, the membership form. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yes, yes,
Sorry. Thank you,
yes.
Suhei. Okay, so as new chapters, yes, you do receive one free ESA membership for a student.
Yeah.
For that as like chapter rep. Yes.
Mhm.
Member ID, leave it blank. You don't have one. That would be
Okay.
assigned to you. Once you have that I'm assuming you're doing it via PDF.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, once you have that PDF, send it over to us, and then we send that over to membership. But if there's like, if the like field doesn't make any sense, just leave it blank.
Okay. So that's
All we
good.
need is your contact information.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Anyone else?
I have a question, quick question.
Yeah, go for it, Adam.
Will this meeting recording be available to us to review and send out to our chapter members maybe, or?
So the way that it works is, yes, the meeting will be shared. We share it on Slack. And then from there, anybody with the link can view the video. Actually, I don't think we shared any like personal information on this call, at least while it was being recorded. So it's cool. Does everybody give me a thumbs up that we can share this like general public and like not make? All right, cool. So you'll find this on our YouTube channel, ESA-SEEDS. And you can share that with the rest of the community. Cool. Thank you, guys. All right. So if there's no more questions or concerns, again, my email is fred@esa.org. Suhei is sortega@esa.org. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, or you can just email seeds@esa.org, and then we both get it. But yeah, feel free to let us know any steps or anything like that. Like I said, we have a few things coming up, applications for a national field trip, recruitment for the SEEDS leadership meeting. I mentioned it's in September. So this means that all new chapters and those that have received chapter grants will get to nominate one student to participate. We do have a lot of active chapters with it, which is a good problem to have. This still means we're recruiting 20 chapters for the leadership meeting that's happening September 4th through the 8th, and that's going to happen at Harvard Forest in Massachusetts. So besides the field trip, besides the leadership meeting, again, keep up the good work and let us know how we can support you financially for ideas for the fall of 2024. And then let us know what you guys have been up to with those reports in order to qualify for said funding. Thank you.
Thank you.